When a correction is made to an account payable vendor invoice that's already been entered, a new entry is done for the credited amount. We're going to go to Processes, Purchases, and Vendor Invoice. The entry is done in the same screen, in the vendor invoice screen, as the original entry. And we're going to select our vendor, which we have Supplies Depot, and they sent us a credit memo on this invoice of $30. So we selected our vendor. We see our vendor balance of $355. We can put in the same invoice number that we used originally. And yes, no, we don't want to use a new one. And we're going to put in the date of the refund. And then you're going to enter the amount as a negative. So that's the only thing different in this credit, is that the amount is going to be a negative. All the other details will be the same. We're going to select the same account that we used originally, which in this case was office supplies. We would put in the same other details if needed, or you can go to the details screen and fill in details. In this case, we had a distribution applied, and we're going to leave that on this. There's no other details that we need. It made a total of -30. This is just going to decrease the amount that we owe to Supplies Depot and decrease the vendor balance under accounts payable for Supplies Depot. So we're going to go ahead and save this. And if we go back to Pay Invoices Due when we're ready to pay, and we change our due date, we see Supplies Depot now at $325. And if we expand that, we see our original invoice for $355 and our credit for $30. So when we pay this amount and we're ready to pay, we're going to be paying on the $325, which now also applied our discount, and that will resolve the credit that was applied to from our vendor. The other way you could pay this, I'm going to close this and not post it. You could go to your payment screen and again select our vendor, our Supplies Depot. That brings up our Apply to Open Invoices screen, again with our $325. And we can select to pay all if we were paying this invoice. Or if we were only paying a portion, we could choose to pay the negative first and then apply whatever we were going to pay additionally on the original invoice. And click OK. And it tells us that we have a terms discount, and we're not going to be applying that because we're not paying the whole thing. So we can zero that out, click OK. And that lets us pay this amount, and then that would be how we can apply that credit to our vendor invoice.